What is up, party people? Happy Thursday. Walked in today, very slippery. Can I just say cold AF? Or as you would say, cold as ass.
Either that or cold as fiddlesticks.
It was way colder than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't go on my walk this morning, dude. I got up and saw the wind chimes outside, going back and forth rather violently. And I thought, boy, the wind chill's got to be below zero.
It
was
-1.
Yeah.
It was freezing. And then on my walk in, as I walk by the naked roundabout, as my daughter says, it's the Wiener roundabout. Everything was iced up. It was so slippery. I could have skated on it.
Did they have goosebumps?
They did not. It was shrinkage, Jerry. It was cold.
I was in the pool.
It was cold, Jerry. It was cold. So,
easy, big fella.
That was such a great episode. A show about nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like us. A show about nothing. So that was, but I just want to say, if you guys are out there braving the cold like I was, God bless you, because I didn't see many people. Yesterday, I saw some people wandering around. The snow's kind of fun. It's a little sloshy. Today, nobody's out there. I was surprised. I thought, well, it's beautiful outside. I was freezing.
Yeah.
My dogs took them out for a walk. So my wife has, because they're warm weather dogs, as they like to say. My wife has those, she got them coats. They went outside. They normally are outside for 10, 15 minutes running around in the little dog park area at our apartment. They went outside, they peed, they turned, they walked straight back. They got on their leashes and headed straight back. They wanted nothing to do with outdoors.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, because normally I have to fight to get them on.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So
they're probably thinking, where in the world have you taken us?
Yes. Normally at this time of year, it's 92. Our winter has passed. What do we got for the next couple of days? We're going to start warming up, right?
Yeah, we're going to start warming up. Let's see. We're not going to get above freezing until tomorrow. Today, about the best we're going to do is maybe 30 degrees. Then we're going to be back down near, the single digits tonight. But then it looks like tomorrow things change and we start getting into the 30s above freezing.
Oh, thank God.
I can take that.
Yeah, thank the Lord. Layers. My friends are always laughing because I'm doing videos and stuff. I've got, I'll have a vest on or something like that. They're like, dude, layers. This place is all about layers.
Yeah.
Got to have layers.
Got to have layers, dude. That blocks the biting cold.
Walking in today, I will say it's the wind, man. I don't care. The cold sucks, but the wind,
That's it, dude. Yeah, tonight's low, 9 degrees.
Fantastic. My dog looked at me and said, dude, don't get mad, but I'm just going to pee in the corner. All right? Not doing it on the rug. We got hardwood floors. We're going to be good, okay? All right? You guys got a cat. He's got a box. We don't have a box. We don't. And you know what else, too? The snow that's still out there. The dog, everywhere you go now, all of the snow is yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's nothing untouched now.
Does your little one hate the weather?
Oh, little Fritz, yeah, man. I mean, his boys are only a couple of centimeters off the ground.
Oh.
So I got to clear a path for that little fella.
Oh, poor
whenever
guy.
we take him outside.
See, ladies, you have nothing to worry about. We're just saying that there. That's horrible. So much stuff to get to today, but we just heard tragic news. A man, a myth, a legend.
7 times.
7 times I've been here.
7 times.
How many times you been there?
7 times.
Okay.
My fellow Kentuckians have sent me to the Senate every day. In between, I've been humbled by the trust they placed in me.
That right there is not the turtle. It's a cartoon. Hi, everybody. It's me, Mitch McConnell. He's out.
Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime. I will not seek this honor an 8th time.
That's a long time to be up there, dude.
2 years.
Yes, sir.
Like 42 years he will have been up there. That is insane.
How many freezes does that mean per term?
I don't know.
3, 4.
It's just, well, yeah, if you're going to break it out, who was the other guy the other day? The old guy in Mississippi. Did you see him?
Yeah.
He just
Looked like he was having a stroke live
you're like,
on
what the
camera.
hell's going on with that guy? Is there anybody under 60?
Josh Hawley.
Yeah, Josh Hawley.
There you go. That's the only one I think
Fetterman,
of.
but he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Now all of his people are quitting because they thought he was uber progressive, and he got out and he thought, you people are nuts. Although he didn't say it like that. He said, nuts, you people. I just remember the night he was on, he did the debate, and he started out, good night.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Fetterman.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good night. You're
The
like,
single
all right,
most succinct opening statement in the history of politics.
Oh, good God. Just insane. Senate confirmation vote on Kash Patel nomination to lead the FBI is coming soon. At what time do you think he releases the Epstein files? Do you think he runs right over there? Releases it today?
He's just already got his desk and everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to pass. We're just going to get on with it. I mean, the stuff they throw at him, too, which is hilarious. They put stuff like, oh, did you see that sweatshirt he was wearing? You're like, really? Is this where we're going with this? I mean, what do you think's going to happen? If he's that bad, eventually they'd move on from him. I mean, that's just, it's like, do you know how many bad people? And I'm not even talking about people that are evil and bad. I'm just talking about people who are inept, have run government agencies. And then we don't find that out till way later after they're gone. I mean, we kind of knew, but now it's, and I think Kash is going to be fine. I think all of them are going to be fine. They all hate it because he doesn't follow the script they want him to follow.
He's not a bureaucrat or a politician.
Yeah, that's what makes these people so uncomfortable. Like that Steve Witkoff guy, who's the guy that goes out and negotiates everything. He is not a bureaucrat or a politician. He just goes and negotiates.
Well, it's kind of like, what Judge Tanya Chutkan, whenever she blocked.
Yeah.
Well, actually, she refused to block Doge actions on 7 agencies. She told the 14 blue states that were suing, she said, look, simply being scared is not proof of action here. You've got to prove that this is going to hurt you. And at this point, all I see is that you're scared.
Yeah. It's not the same. I mean, being scared doesn't count as being hurt.
And she's not necessarily a Trump fan.
No, everybody thinks she is. If you don't hate Trump, you automatically love him. That's the rumor.
Right. There's no in between.
No. And if you criticize him, you hate him.
Yeah.
Even if you support 90% of stuff. Yes, Bill.
No, I was just thinking about Kash, the nomination. Trump could nominate a Rock or Albert Einstein, either one, and the left is going to freak out over it because they just want to pander to their base and go, hey, we're the resistance. We're like you.
You know what? It's interesting because we got some good stuff from Chris Scalise coming up, Scalise, who was on with Leland Vitter at News Nation last night. And it's really interesting because he talks about the blind spot they have, but it's not just him. The blind spot is great. And some people say, well, they're only pandering to their base. They don't even know what they're doing anymore. They don't even know where their base is. That's the problem. The problem is they don't know what their base is because Trump came in and he remade everything. He's a once in a lifetime. He is. He is a once. You can hate him. You can love him. You can look at it like, even I've always said this. I look at politics sometimes like sports. I don't have to like somebody in their politics, but to respect them at least for what they've done and what they believe. I look at somebody like Bernie Sanders. I don't like Bernie's politics. By the way, I've talked to Bernie on a few occasions. He's a very engaging individual. He's hilarious. And he is as grumpy as you think he is. He is so grumpy. But you know what? The dude is who he is. So I for that, I respect you for that. I mean, that's what it is. In this day and age, though, Trump came along and he just kicked the door in and he just said, we're redoing all of this stuff. And from the trolling, which yesterday, the whole thing when he said, you're welcome, long live the king or whatever.
I knew it, man.
Oh, they spent hours on it last night.
Oh, yes, they did, man. I knew they would.
People call me headless. There are liberals out there walking around who have no heads because they've exploded over him saying, long live the king.
Just from that. Because he's like, oh, put that. This will be great. Watch them. They're going to freak out. They're going to probably bring in some sort of royal expert to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was referring to the nationwide protests on Monday that was organizers called the No Kings rally.
Because he joked about if saving the country, could, whatever he said, like that's attributed to Napoleon, but not exactly.
He who saves his country breaks no law.
Yeah. And I was like, he trolled. It's it. And they went. And they're going to keep doing it too. And as long as they do, it's like my daughter. If she cries or she throws a fit and you pay attention, there's and we all know this. If you're a parent, you know this. You wouldn't, Bill, but because you've never felt the love of a good woman.
Oh, man.
No, but God, I can't believe you said that. Nothing. But Ken, you understand. You know when a kid is hurt and when a kid is upset and they're angry and they're frustrated.
Yep.
And there's a difference. And every time you show that kid over and over again all of that stuff, they keep coming back for it. And it's the same thing. If you don't want him to troll you, then don't pay attention to it when he does. Eventually, he's going to get bored if he doesn't get a reaction.
That's what he's going for. He just wants the reaction, and they give it to him. Robert Reich, who used to be labor secretary under Clinton.
Who, by the way, speaking of trolls, everybody, every day I come in, what is Bell doing? He's trolling Robert Reich, saying horrible things about how tiny he is.
He's not just short. He's also a mental midget.
Yeah.
And yesterday he posted a piece out of the Constitution saying that no one is allowed to have the title of king or all these other things. And it's like, you moron, you're giving him exactly what he wants, and I'm here for every second of it.
You just love it though. You think he believes that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Robert, yeah, absolutely he does.
See, I often wonder, I look at Trump and I think, I don't think Trump believes 100% of everything because Trump's a populist.
That I agree. I think Trump does a lot of stuff just for the reaction.
He does a lot of stuff for the reaction. And I also think he looks out there and goes, hey, which way's the wind blowing on certain issues? We got to get rid of this. But the people spoke and the people want TikTok, so we're going to keep TikTok. I mean, he is a populist and he's going to go where the people goes, which that's part of business.
What's his press secretary's name? Caroline Leavitt?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's a direct line to her where he calls her up and goes, hey, just letting you know I'm about to stir the pot.
Well, if you watch any of the behind the scenes, she was the one she was the one sending all the tweets and the truths. He would tell her, say this, this, and this. No, wait, do this, this, and she'd type it up and send it off.
So he was basically what's the word? Not stenographer. He was.
Yeah, he was dictating
what.
Well, because he's the dictator.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's since January 20th. I heard.
Absolutely. It's been a month. Oh my God, did we survive?
No,
This has been the longest year this month.
I mean, at some point, I think I'm going to get fired because I haven't been working almost a month because I've been in a camp.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been interred. How do I get out?
I don't know, man. Guys with long hair. I can't wait till Trump does what they do in North Korea and they make everybody have the same haircut. Where everybody's either going to have the comb over, and you're going to have to be a certain shade of orange.
It's going to have to be like mine and your haircut.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nobody can have the coif like him. Oh, my Lord.
Better look out, Brother Bilal.
Oh, goodness me. Coming up, you're forgetting that, yes, I know Bell's a cat dad. Like, it's not quite the same. Because your cats don't cry or pretend to be injured.
Oh, you know nothing.
They
Yes,
want
they do.
attention, but there's a difference. And cats are also very finicky, as we all know.
Yes.
I mean, cats want attention when they want it, and no attention when they don't. And most of the time, it's when they don't. All right, coming up, a lot of stuff to get to today. More on Cash Patel. He's going to have his. I guess today's the day, maybe, yes. I mean, he cleared another hurdle. How many hurdles does this guy have to go through?
I was getting ready to say, last week it was reported he had cleared the final hurdle and it was setting up the final vote.
Yeah, now we're on to another one.
But, of course, J.D. Vance, the vice president, the tiebreaker, he went to the security conference in Munich. So I guess they held off until he got back. But then here we are today, another test vote.
They want to just make sure that nobody backed out. All right. Well, we'll find out when that's going to happen. Oh, my goodness. Every day is something like this. We're going to talk about plane crashes. The fear of flying is growing every single day, and that is not good because the numbers and the data show you got nothing to worry about. But it still doesn't matter because the reality is that's that one weird place. It's in the sky We don't have control, no matter how much you guys think we can fly a plane. We know we can't. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks. Basketball season is here because the football season's gone. We got like 100 million gazillion months to wait for that. So what do we have? Prize Picks has basketball for you. Now, the way Prize Picks works, it's different, kids. You're not betting on teams. It's the over-under. It's will they score more or less? Will they do this more or that? You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Tons of great ways to play. There's Flex Play. There's all kinds of promos. They have Taco Tuesday where you get all kinds of bonuses. And right now, when you use code CHAD, when you download the app, you get $50 bonus play the minute you play your first $5 lineup. It's that simple. So you download the app, use code CHAD, and then you look and you say, all right, NBA, what do we got? Steph Curry? Is he going to make more than 4.5 three-pointers in his next game? I'm going to go with a yeah. LeBron, will he score more than 22.5 points in his next game or less? I'm going to go with a yeah. There you go. Lineup set, and away you go. It's fun. It's easy. Join it now and get a $50 bonus when you use my code. Go to Prize Picks. Download the app right now. Prize Picks. Use code CHAD. Prize Picks. Run your game.
FBI nominee Kash Patel's final confirmation vote is sometime this afternoon. The longest-serving U.S. Senate leader in history says 7 terms is enough, and a 21-year-old NBA star's season has come to an abrupt end for a health issue, something that kills 100,000 people a year. We'll tell you about it at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, now. That's a tease, kids. That's what they call that in the business. A tease.
Yes, sir. That's a tease. See? Yeah.
I am, it's funny. I was talking about, doing my other show today. I was saying, look, we could sit here and talk all day about Kash Patel and Ukraine and all of this stuff. At the end of the day, the big picture, micro, macro. Micro is what most people live in. And if the economy goes south, that's when people get terrified and get frustrated. And Trump's got, everybody's trying to blame Trump. Oh, you said your eggs were going to be, nickel, a wood nickel. And so they're throwing a fit. No, he's got a little time. But I'll tell you what, a year from now, if things are still nasty, you watch what happens. People will turn because that's life. We all want somebody to blame for something. And winning cures all ills, man. You only have to look at sports and find out afterwards, nobody liked anybody on the team. Well, we didn't know that. No, because we're winning championships. The minute things go sideways, stuff starts to leak within 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And you got Walmart talking about tariffs. But the one thing, and Trump's been very open. Look, prices may go up for a while. If you stay with the people and you come out and say, hey, we're going to have some issues here. Things are going to get a little tight. Obviously, the bird flu, that's a whole separate issue that, started long before Trump got there. And, they're pointing at eggs as if eggs weren't high underneath Biden. And again, I can't blame him for the bird flu. Some of you will. But if you're with the people and you explain to them what is happening, hey, we're going to have some tariffs. There's going to be some stuff that's a little bit more expensive. There's no doubt about that. There are going to be situations here where things aren't going to go as smooth as we want, but there's a reason for that, because if we get through this the way that I think we are on the other end, we're going to be in a much better situation. But if you ignore it or blame everybody else and things continue that way, people just want to, the whole thing about transparency, which is what the Democrats seem to be completely amiss about. If you're honest and open with people and you treat them like adults and you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, you'd be surprised what will come of it. But this is what, long-term, legacy is Supreme Court. What you do with Ukraine and what happens with Israel and stuff like those are the long-term things, because those things take time to settle, to work into its position. But the economy is now. And the economy is what we go through every single day. You're going to go through the economy today, and in 20 years, if you're still here, you'll still be in the economy, where it's not the same with Ukraine and Russia. That stuff hopefully will be settled sooner rather than later. But he is going to be judged on those things as the legacy side of stuff. But the short term, he's just got to be 100% open. Hey, there's going to be some tough roads ahead. Because that's what leaders do. Leaders go, we're going to get through this, and it ain't going to be easy, and we're going to have some bumps in the road, but this is why I'm doing it. And you do that, people will respect you all day. And I think he's been pretty open so far about it. I know he blamed Biden. Well, first of all, it's still Biden's economy. It takes a while for it to become yours. You got to put your stamp on it. 18 days, 19 days, 20 days, 30 days. You got to give it a few months. Watching some of the Democrats go, well, he said from day one he was going to make eggs free. Everybody was going to get a chicken. Shut up. Coming up, we'll talk a little Ukraine. Wasn't thrilled by the whole Trump thing and the way that he went after. And I know people are, he's the CIA. It's what Zelensky is, this, that, and the other. It's not even so much about the Zelensky side of stuff as it is about the Putin side of stuff as well. I understand kind of why he did it. I think maybe the way it was handled was a little different. Bunch of other stuff to get to today. Reach out across all of our social media. We love it when you do. And if you can, grab the podcast. Otherwise,
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Checking traffic. Still got that problem with the rolling roadblocks to fix potholes. Drivers, the right lane is blocked. 65 southbound just past Rosa Parks Boulevard. Full forecast in 5 minutes. We're monitoring the White House press briefing on this 20th day of February, 1 month since President Trump started his second term. Kash Patel has cleared another test vote.
We have 51 yeas, 47 nays. The motion is agreed to. Clerk will report the nomination.
Nomination, Department of Justice, Kash Patel of Nevada to be director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
One more vote. We're told it's the final one this afternoon. Republican Susan Collins has vowed to vote no. Another U.S. senator says 7 terms is enough.
Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime. I will not seek this honor an 8th time.
Now, today happens to be Mitch McConnell's 83rd birthday. First elected to the U.S. Senate in 1984, he rose to become the longest-serving Senate leader in U.S. history. We see a report from Reuters which says the IRS has fired 6,000 employees. The cuts focused on those hired during the Biden administration. ABC News says 2 U.S. officials confirmed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is preparing to fire or remove a series of top generals and senior officers at the Pentagon. Delta is offering $30,000 in compensation to every passenger on board that regional jet that flipped upside down upon landing in Toronto. One of those passengers, Brian Erickson.
There's some people in pretty tough shape, and $30,000 right now would be extremely helpful.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Oh. Omaha Steaks. Guess what's going on right now? Semi-annual sale, 50% off site-wide. And when you use code Benson, you get an extra $30 off at checkout. We're talking about the best of the best, from butcher-cut fillets to air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, Polynesian pork chops. These things are incredible. They're my favorite things. They've got everything, and you can even do your own. You can build your own. They've even got surf and turf. It is the best around, 100% guaranteed bite for bite. This is what they do, and they're better than anybody. I love Omaha Steaks. It is a semi-annual sale. Go build your own. Check out all the other amazing things they have, from their winter bestsellers to the custom assortments packs. You name it, they've got it all. Surf and turf, they've got it. If you just want hot dogs, Frank's, they got it. They've got everything. 50% off site-wide. Use my code Benson. When you do, you get an extra $30 off when you check out. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code Benson. come on out. Join us. We're all going to be there except for Bell. The Nashville Palace.
I'm not allowed.
That's right. Get your tickets now. How do they get tickets? This is how much I get told all these stuff, right? There's like several ways they get tickets.
You can go to our website, and there's a page on the website that has a QR code, or if you're watching on Super Talk TV, the Be Right Back screen now is a promo for the event, and there's a QR code on that you can scan. It'll take you to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So come on out, hang out with us. We promise the weather will be a little bit better. Ken and I are going to be over there having a good time. Bell's not coming, though. Like I said, he's decided this is not something he wants to
Not
participate in.
allowed. I was told I'm not allowed there.
You're kind of allowed, but whatever.
Not really.
You got your garage band practice that night. We know how important that is to you. You feel like garage band guy.
Yeah.
Check out the uncle. He still thinks he's in a band. Yeah, we're going to rock it, man. We're going to get I talked to a guy at Chrysalis Records. He's probably going to take us up.
Chrysalis Record. I haven't heard that in 35 years.
This guy's pretty awesome. He was like an assistant to the assistant to the assistant. He's starting his own thing, his own label. We're going to be big.
That was Billy Idol's label.
Yeah, that's right. He's on tour now.
Yep.
Good for him. He's had some plastic surgery. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen him. I was like, Billy's like 65, but whatever face that is, isn't.
He's lived a full life.
Yes, yes, several of them. Several of them. It's interesting, the whole flight thing. We still have no idea who the pilots were, right? I just want to make sure. I've checked in 20 minutes.
I have not seen.
Not a word. Not a word. Now, I've heard that they were experienced, but I don't know if they were experienced. Because, first of all, if you're flying a regional jet, that's not where they send the super experienced people. You know, you're not flying the Bombardier CJ 900 or whatever it was called, RJ 5000. And the reason I bring it up is because people are nervous about flying right now. I mean, it's understandable. And we had we had a lot more plane crashes when I was younger, and it still wasn't that many. But we weren't inundated 24/7 with news, which changes everything. I mean, you rarely saw any kind of you'd see a wreckage here and a wreckage there in the front page of a newspaper, like Lockerbie, like that. You know, the whole Pan Am or whatever, that whole thing right there. I remember seeing that, you know, the front of it because it fell into a town. You remember some of those things, but you don't. We see it now. Hell, we saw people getting off the airplane. That's what was crazy about it. So Sean Duffy, who is now the transportation secretary, he was in Road Rules. That's where he met his wife on MTV. Yeah. Was asked today, is it safe? Because people are worried, and that's understandable.
Is it safe to fly?
So the simple answer is yes, it's safe to fly, of course. Actually, I'm going to fly later today. I've been flying for the last week. But
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
If you get in a plane, if you look at how many people fly, how many flights we have, of course it's a safe space.
And yet we've had these 5 real high-profile incidents in the last 3 weeks. It leaves people wondering what is going on.
Each one is very unique. And I do think as we look at the incidents or the crashes, it gives us an opportunity to say, what went wrong? What can we improve upon in the system off these crashes?
That's the air industry is very forward-thinking in some ways and reactionary in others. They're slow to do stuff, and partially because every time you take a plane out of service to service it for something and you don't get it back, it costs them so much money. It also costs whoever's servicing it a ton of money every single day. And they don't make a ton of money off you and I the way that people think. A lot of that money comes from underneath the plane, what they're traveling from point A to point B with. It's not just your luggage. But I understand why people are terrified because of that. And it goes back to the thing we've talked about here. You know, we joke about the fact that was it like half of men think if something went wrong, they could land the plane. No, we couldn't. I mean, we could fly it to the ground, kind of like those ladies did or whatever. But it's the being in a situation where you have no control. That's the thing. If you're driving in a car and, somebody goes Mitch McConnell on you and he's the driver, you can reach over and you know how to drive. Most of you. Some of you maybe not, but most of you do. You get that. If you're on a boat, most of you know how to swim and you got a life raft or a little, you got a preserver. You're going to be fine. Unless you're with, what's her name from Titanic and she throws Jack off the little thing and really didn't have to. But in the air, you're 35, 36, 37,000 feet in the air. You don't have wings, so you can't fly and you can't land the plane. And it's the giving up the power that terrifies people. The chances of getting into an accident, though, you would have to fly every single day for, I think it is 100,000 years before you'd have a chance of getting into a fatal accident. That's pretty good numbers. But it doesn't mean it still doesn't, because psychologically, the data. You look at it, I'm not going to go down. Nothing's going to happen to me. But it doesn't matter because mentally we go there. And it's crazy, too, the way that this whole thing played itself out with these plane crashes is the left wants it to be Donald Trump's fault. And the right wants it to be DEI. And I'm like, you know what I want? How about no more plane crashes? That's like a really cool thing. How about no more? It's not Donald Trump's fault because they even tried to bring this up. Gail King tried to bring this up with the CEO of Delta. Because you remember over the last couple of days, they're firing people from the FAA, and these are people that are absolutely probably the most important people to the plane industry.
The Trump administration recently fired many employees of the FAA administration. Do those cuts worry you, and do you think that impacts the safety? I know you just said it's the safest way to travel, but after looking at all these mishaps, a lot of people are very nervous. Do these cuts affect you?
The cuts do not affect us, Gail. I've been in close communication with the Secretary of Transportation. I understand that the cuts at this time are something that are raising questions, but the reality is there's over 50,000 people that work at the FAA, and the cuts, I understand, were 300 people, and they were in non-critical safety functions.
What? No, but according to the news and to everybody, that Trump fired everybody that was integral to the flight industry. No, they got rid of people that were on probation who were filing a piece of paper, putting it from over here to over here. And that is not integral. They need more people when it comes to air traffic control. But you know what else they need even more than that? To modernize air traffic control. Do you realize that in a lot of air traffic control areas, they use pieces of paper and pencil to do certain things? When it comes to the air, they'll assign an aircraft and they put it over here on this little board. It's crazy. The most modern thing we have is from late 1990s, early 2000 in a lot of these places. Some are a little bit more modern. We're so far behind in a lot of stuff. But this thought process that it's this or it's that, let's find out what happened and we go from there. But we don't do that. We no longer allow any of the dust to settle when we go into the world of politics over anything. And you've got an industry right now that is struggling. Boeing has been struggling for several years. And then you've got the fact that we've now seen incidents of planes going down and crashes, and it's making everybody completely nervous about flying. Even people that are seasoned flyers, even some of you are texting, look at the numbers. They're going down all the time. They're not. Small planes go down a lot. But a vast majority of those end up in crash landings where people survive. Even yesterday, the one in Marana, which is when I talk about where I used to live, the Valley of the Dirt People, that is not too far from my house. And out there, I will tell you, one of those planes, they landed, they survived. The other one crashed. But we think like this happens all the time. Do you realize how many airplanes are in the air right now with carrying people? But in our mind, it's over. It's over, man. We can't. Don't fly. This is it. You're taking it into your own hands. Could be over.
The Trump administration has committed to investing deeply in terms of improving the overall technologies that are used in the air traffic control systems and modernizing the skies. They've committed to hiring additional controllers and investigators and safety investigators. So, no, I'm not concerned with that at all.
I like how he shut her down. Like, no, that's not happening. No, it's not. I'm not worried about it. This isn't. And then of course you've got the other side of it, which is like it's DEI. You know who was flying that? Women. You're like, okay. I don't know who was flying it. Yesterday I found out. This is what I found out yesterday. Everything from it was 2 women. It was 1 woman who's never really flown before outside of a simulator, and a captain who didn't have a lot of experience but decided to let her land the plane. To everything else, it's the rumors, the conspiracies. I don't know. Whatever it was bad. But everybody walked away. But I am curious, if you want to shut down a conspiracy theory, don't hide what's going on. Because when you don't tell people what's happening, that's how conspiracy theories get going. By the way, did you see Trump in his roundtable talking about going to Fort Knox? And in the middle of the roundtable, they're on the airplane, and there's a big turbulence, and he smiles and goes, "Ooh, that's a big bump." Oh, I got some good conspiracy theories. There's a lady out there who thinks that everything basically at the Fort Knox is like cheese. It's all props.
Saw something here that says at any given time, there could be more than 9,000 planes in the air at the same time.
Yeah, 9,000. I mean, commercial airlines are super safe. Rarely do they have issues.
That's why it was such a miracle for them to get all those planes out of the sky so quickly on 9/11. Was there so many of them?
Yeah, God. That was the weirdest time seeing nothing in the air for days.
Yeah, we lived right by Albuquerque Sunport at the time, and the silence was deafening, as they say.
Yeah, it was definitely there. You could just, it was eerie. It was so quiet because you almost got so used to it, and then there wasn't there, and it almost hurt. Yeah. In a weird way. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about gold, bunch of other things as well. If you missed the show, grab the podcast. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Drivers downtown, they are fixing potholes, so there are rolling roadblocks. Right now, the right 2 lanes are blocked 65 southbound just past Rosa Parks Boulevard for that type of work. Today's White House press briefing marking exactly 1 month since President Trump took office for a second term, and we'll let you hear from some of that coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's the greatest month in the history of America.
The likes of which nobody has ever seen.
I love that. No hyperbole there. The greatest ever. Really? I'll be honest, really? Yeah, no, it's greatest.
Certainly in our lifetime, maybe in the world.
Maybe ever. Maybe. It just could be the greatest. I don't know. I could be the greatest. Chad, you're not being very... No, I'm just being honest, guys. Again, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear.
Oh, I mean, that's what he's trumping, man.
It does. Like, these people are getting out there. It's the greatest time in human history. It is the greatest time in human history. No, it's never been better. A month ago, we almost fell off the earth. We're back now. Oh, somebody asked me the other day, Chad, you know, if Kamala would have won, it would have been over for America. I'm like, no, it wouldn't have. Not have been over for America. If we're that weak, that's not good. It's not a good look. It isn't. We were fine. And now we got Trump. Everything's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It's going to be bumpy, though. It's going to be a little turbulent. And I'm not just talking about the stuff that he's going to troll and the fights that are going to be on, CNN, the last of the 8 people that are watching it. CNN gets more play from radio stations and content creators than it probably does from actually being viewed as it happens. Think about that.
You may be right, man.
I mean, if you think about it, like that's whether it's a Rogan or a few of the other Brad Palumbo who had on last week or several, you get a bunch of those people and they've got, several million views. That piece is going to get more play there than it ever would on CNN as far as viewers go. Same thing with radio across the country. When you hear wacky stuff and it's from CNN or MSNBC, nobody's watching it there.
It might be the only thing keeping them relevant.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That is like, I used to think, remember Stelter, Brian Stelter?
Yeah.
We called him the potato.
Yeah, he was so bad, but nobody in our industry wanted him to go. No, don't fire him.
It's great sound.
Too much
clips.
good content.
He's awful. And when some of these guys and gals go, they'll leave Fox or MSNBC and they go somewhere and you find out, okay, they're not really that way. They're a little bit more centrist or a little bit more this way. Not Brian, man. He got out on his own. And he's like, now I'm getting really wacky. People are standing out in front of the FBI.
Kash Patel is a crown jewel in this lawless rampage.
That seemed a little rampant. That seemed a little racist. You call him a crown jewel? What's that supposed to mean? You can make anything racist. Really? Really? Tie my shoes. What's that supposed to mean?
He's an instrument
of death
of Donald Trump's effort to destroy the Justice Department and the FBI so that he is absolutely and completely not only above the law, but beyond the law.
Ooh, above and beyond. Did you guys know?
Not just above it, but beyond it.
So if it's, instead of it being in front of you, like beyond it, it's in front of you and then above you. The chances of catching it, that you would have to be Superman. Here's some more.
Judiciary Committee, what crimes it was that he was concerned about that caused him to plead the Fifth. Kash Patel, mark my words, will cause evil in this building behind us, and Republicans who vote for him will rue that day.
Ooh, we got to rue the day. You don't want to rue the day, I'll tell you that right now.
Politicking.
How about one more? Dick Durbin. Oh, don't be a dick, Durbin.
On this brisk morning, my fellow Democratic Senate Judiciary Committee colleagues and I are here at the FBI headquarters today on the day the Senate Republicans have scheduled a vote to confirm Kash Patel, President Trump's nominee for FBI director. We stand outside the building that Mr. Patel on one day plans to, quote, shut down and reopen the next day as a museum of the deep state. That is one of many of the bizarre political statements made by the man who is asking for 10 years as director of the FBI.
Oh, get ready. Fireworks, all kinds of stuff. Talk a little Ukraine.
He was very poetic there on this brisk morning.
On this brisk and chilly morning. So much good stuff to get to, kids. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers downtown, we've got some rolling roadblock going on to repair potholes. The right two lanes are blocked 65 southbound, just past Rosa Parks Boulevard. We got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Tell you just how cold it's going to be tonight. We've been monitoring the White House press briefing today, exactly 1 month since President Trump took office for a second term. This is Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller.
No president comes close to what Donald Trump has achieved over just the last 30 days.
Caroline Levitt.
The president has already signed 73 executive orders. That is more than double the number signed by Joe Biden and more than quadruple the number signed by Barack Obama over the same period.
And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz was asked whether Trump is being manipulated by Vladimir Putin in talks to end the war in Ukraine.
If there's anybody in this world that can go toe-to-toe with Putin, that could go toe-to-toe with Xi, that could go toe-to-toe with Kim Jong-un, and we could keep going down the list. It's Donald J. Trump.
We're also monitoring the U.S. Senate, where the vote that will either confirm or deny Kash Patel's nomination as FBI director is coming this afternoon. He passed another test vote today. Republican Susan Collins has vowed to be a no vote. 7-term Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell made an announcement.
Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime.
And with that, applause from the Senate gallery and lawmakers when he said he will not be running for an 8th term. The 83-year-old McConnell, first elected in 1984, he became the longest-serving Senate leader in U.S. history. ABC News says 2 U.S. officials confirmed that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is preparing to fire or remove a series of top generals and senior officers at the Pentagon. Reuters says the IRS has just fired 6,000 employees there. Those would be employees hired during the Biden administration. And speaking of employment, Jim Ryan has the weekly jobless claims report.
In the week leading up to February 15th, an estimated 219,000 out-of-work Americans filed their initial claims for state unemployment benefits. That's 5,000 more than the previous week. With the White House planning to slash more than 2 million workers from federal payrolls, the next 2 weeks could see a spike in filings by people who depend on government funding or contracts.
And a food recall impacting a breakfast product sold in Tennessee, Kentucky, and several other states. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says they are Berry Buddies, berries and pancakes, sold at Kroger and Meijer stores. Officials say they contain wheat and eggs that are not listed on the label, posing a risk to folks with allergies. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Get your retirement ready toolkit from Beacon Capital Management. With all the things that are happening right now, uncertainty in the world, chances that maybe it's time to think about what you can do to protect yourself and get that retirement ready in the right way. And that's what Beacon's going to help you with. So let's just say you're nearing retirement, maybe even in retirement. A little nervous about everything. Beacon is here to help, and they're local. Go shake their hand, say hi to them. And this is what they're going to do. They're going to get you out a free retirement ready toolkit. There's no cost, no obligation, and absolutely no pressure. You're going to get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. Again, no obligation, no cost, no pushing anything. You got to do this. It's just a simple way to get to know them. Call them. 615-488-9303 to get your free retirement-ready toolkit. That's 615-488-9303. Or check them out online at AskBeaconNow.com. Looks like they're doing the nomination now. Are we doing the vote now?
Yeah, here's some of it. Come on. Well, all of a sudden they've gone silent.
Oh, God.
They've stopped.
Mr. Risch. Aye.
Jim Risch, Idaho.
Mr. Risch.
Mr. Kelly. No.
No!
Where's he at?
Never! You suck! Well, that'd be great. Chad's been asked to leave again. What do you have to say, Chad? I'm not telling you guys.
Mr. Ricketts. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Blumenthal. No.
Nay.
Mr. Daines. Aye. Mr. Justice. Aye.
Aye. This is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go, kids. Some of the excitement that is our government right there. So, this is it. So this is the one that counts, right? Because he's gotten over a lot of hurdles.
This is it. This is the final vote, we're told. And, of course, you had Adam Schiff and Dick Durbin and Mr. Blumenthal out there talking ahead of it. So
yeah, they were fantastic.
Oh, there's Chris Coons. Chris Coons was talking before it, too.
Yeah, God, it's just so great. They're like, he's going to destroy everything, and he's going to make himself king. You guys can't stop him. Nobody can stop him.
I knew that post was going to be picked up by everybody, and God, sure enough, man.
It's the
And that's
greatest.
exactly what he intended.
It's so awesome. I mean, he did everything he wanted to do. He crushed their souls, and he's like, look, we're going to get all kinds of play with this because these people are stupid. Anything I say, they're going to overreact to. Watch this. And they did. And now you got what you got. And Kash Patel's still going to get through, and we're going to move on with our lives. And what's going to happen tomorrow? The FBI is still going to be there.
Yep.
Trump literally has a leash on these people and just leads them where he wants them to go.
He does. There's no doubt about that. Because they need him. You know what they need? They need an intervention. Everybody needs to sit down with CNN and go, CNN, we're here because we care about you.
And you have no ratings left.
Dear CNN, at one time, you guys used to be fun. You had Wolf Blitzer and he wasn't insane. Now you've lost your way, just like a real intervention. Get that guy from the intervention show to take him to his place in Palm Springs.
Everybody sits around, reads a letter to them.
I
gotta watch that show.
Much. That would be hilarious, right? Ever since you guys started talking about Donald Trump, it's nonstop Trump. Trump this, Trump that. Everybody's mean. Trump's evil. He's a racist. Everybody's a Nazi. It's not working. You're not who I recognize, and you steal money out of my purse. You ever been to an intervention?
Never have.
Oh, they're fun.
I wouldn't say they're fun.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. They are. If it's not your intervention and it's somebody you know and care about, but you're like, I'm not really that close, you're like, this could be interesting. What are the chances there's going to be nudity? Oh, my goodness. Are you sure we shouldn't hold this in a bar?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been to a few of them.
In a bar?
No.
I was getting ready to
it's
say,
always
man.
a hotel room. Like, do you not know if somebody invites you to a hotel room randomly,
Yeah.
you're either going to get murdered or there's an intervention.
Yeah.
And this is what they need right now. They need an intervention because they have nothing else. And the Democrats have lost their way, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, on how bad they have gotten. And the fact that they're completely leaderless, they're rudderless. We've talked about that. But it's gotten worse on a daily basis. They continue to run it stupid. And when you've even got other Democrats, people who are progressive coming out and goes, are you guys this bad? And then they double down. They double down. There's just no doubt. So we are waiting. Kash Patel is moments away from being named. I guess he'd be the curator, right, of the museum? Is what they're going to call it? That's what he said he's going to do. He's going to turn it into the, what is it? A
Museum of the Deep State.
A Museum of the Deep State.
The Museum of the Deep State.
You know, I watched Mike Baker. If you guys know, he's a former CIA guy. He was on a couple things over the last couple of days talking about it. And he was talking about JFK and how they magically found all this stuff. He says, the JFK thing, he goes, I think a lot of what, you're going to believe what you believe, but it's more an embarrassment, I think. He was with me. I think the MLK stuff is far worse. I think that is way worse than the JFK stuff when it comes to this.
Like what's going to be revealed?
Yeah, the fact that, okay, so this guy here who has nothing, all of a sudden has money. He has all this stuff. He's over in Europe. I mean, it's like all this wacky stuff that happens to supposedly the killer. And his family doesn't want it out either, which is weird. Like, you wouldn't want to know everything, but I think it's a lot worse because I think there was a lot more participation and a blind eye turning, if you will. And I think the embarrassment's going to come. And you know what? It's funny. The same people that are out there going, he's going to make this evil, is probably protecting an organization that participated and or knew bad things were going down and did nothing to stop it. So how should we trust them now? That's a fair question. Absolutely a fair question. It's very interesting what is happening with, and I know some of you are probably going to be angry about this, with what's going on in Russia. I understand why Trump did what he did. Because you got to negotiate with Putin first. It has to happen. I do not for a second think that the likes of Zelensky is a dictator. I just don't. I don't think he's a dictator. Everything that has gone on, well, he hasn't had an election, but that is, all that stuff is in the purview of what in their constitution he's allowed to do. He doesn't have a 4% rating. It's more like 55 or 60%. People are exhausted. Trump's still a little bitter, I think, at him. But, yes, this thing needs to come to an end. And I love the fact that he wants it to come to an end. The thought, though, that he's a dictator and that somehow Putin isn't, that to me was a little weird. It is, because I don't know if you're aware of this. Pretty much anybody who runs against Putin, unless Putin chose him, magically falls out of a window or dies in a prison. That's kind of dictatory right there. There's no doubt about that. And yes, you've got to negotiate with Putin first. And I would say, look, I'm going to sit down and negotiate with both of you. And this is all about business with Trump. This has nothing to do with anything other than that. He knows that a Russia that's not fighting with Ukraine and an open market where oil's flowing and all that stuff, it's good for business. And Trump understands short term, he needs business to be good. Because somebody said earlier, Trump's got 4 years. Trump doesn't have 4 years. Trump's got about 12 to 15 months to make sure things are rocking and rolling before people say, midterms are here, things aren't good, people change their mind. We are a fickle bunch of people. And you want to make sure those last 2 years aren't you having to defend yourself and have everything that you're trying to do overdone by the Democrats. So I understand why he did it. Again, it goes back to the way he did it. Putin's a bad dude. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, if you don't think he's a bad guy, go have some tea with him.
And hope it's not poisoned.
Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, my buddy's totally cool, man. He's great with girls. Would you let him hang out with your wife? Never. It's the same thing. You can have tea with him because he is a bad guy. But the negotiation has to start with Putin because Zelensky's going to be fine. He is. He's going to be fine because they do like him. He's gotten them through this, and it is time to turn the page. It's time to move on, and we go from there. But you have to negotiate with Putin first because Putin still has the nuclear weapons. Putin's still the big dog around there. And if Europe's unhappy with the way things are going, guess what, guys? You deal with it then.
He's got enough missiles to just bleed us dry, to just every now and then send some missiles over to Ukraine and then just have us keep giving him giving Ukraine billions of dollars, and it's just going to stay the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, he's got enough, and he's got enough people. At the end of the day, you're going to run out of bullets, and he'll still have people. And the people out there who are texting and who are defending Putin, knock yourself out. He's not a good dude. He's never had a fair election. Ever. He is a dictator. Period. Case closed. That guy is an absolute dictator. But he is the big dog. And Europe, you need to deal with this more than anybody else because it's in your backyard. We're in the battle of the maple syrup. With the Canadians, we're not asking you to come over and help us.
Well, and that's what Macron brought all the European leaders together for in Paris, is to say, okay, what are we going to do now?
Oh, well, because they recognize, look, Trump may step away from this. I think something will get done. But do I for a second believe that Putin is a decent individual? Really? Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's murdering people.
Yes, he is. He's murdering, for all the stuff they say about Trump doing, this dude actually does it. He took his rival, had him arrested, then had him murdered. And a rival that was really popular. That's insane. So, no, I don't think he's a good guy. But you have to deal with him. Just like you have to deal with the Xi, just like you have to go and deal with the Saudis and everybody else.
Yeah.
But to think for a moment that he's a wonderful guy, and I don't blame Russia for being upset about the encroachment of the West, but you did invade their country. I mean, that's pretty real. Like, you invaded their country. So this has got to come to an end. There are too many people dying, and there's too much money going out there. And this thing should have been put to bed 3 years ago. The powers that be didn't want it. It will come to an end. And Zelensky's going to lose land, and that's going to happen. And Putin will be able to go home as a hero, if you will, and be lauded by his people and all of that stuff. But I don't for a second think he's a good guy. I understand why he did it. But do I think he's a good cat? No. It's like, do you think Kim Jong-un's a good dude? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think he's a good cat. I mean, I would rather, here's the difference. I would rather sit down and have lunch with Kim Jong-un than with Putin. I don't think Kim would poison me. I think Putin might.
Yeah.
Right?
You might get a severe abdominal ailment.
Oh, yes.
About an hour after you eat with Putin.
Or fall out of a window.
Yeah.
But we were on the ground floor. Well, we went to a different hotel.
Or, just poisoned by opening your hotel, grabbing your hotel room key.
What was the one they had done in the...
That was in Great Britain.
The one where he poked the guy with a umbrella, right? And it was plutonium or something.
Right.
Radioisotope on it, yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you're dealing with. So, do I understand why he did? Yeah. Is it, do I think you should be talking about who's a dictator and who's not when when you look over and you realize, dude hasn't had a fair election since ever? And do you think, remember, every time the Constitution comes in and says, all right, you can't hold this position anymore, Putin creates a new position. that happens to be above the position he was in.
He just has the Duma change the election or change the Constitution
all
for
the time. He was a prime minister, then he was a president. Next, he'll be the czar of czars. They'll come up just like, it's just like Xi, where he's president for life now. All right, coming up, Kash Patel. Did he get through? Are we done?
He is 5 votes away.
5 votes away. We'll have that maybe live to see if he can get through. This is it. Kash Patel. Is it going to be close? Will J.D. Vance have to hit the gavel? We will see. It is Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Field of Greens. Guys, let me tell you something. We probably don't get a lot of fruits and vegetables. I used to always say this. The things I eat, they got the fruits and vegetables I need. The reality is I need more than that. My wife always says, you got to do it for the kids. Well, let me tell you what Fields of Greens does. It helps get us the things we need, guys. And I'm talking about all the nutrition in one glass. Things like fruits and vegetables. Simple and easy anymore. It's going to help with your energy, which is incredible. It's going to be great for things like heart health, lung and kidney function, metabolism, even healthy weight. You want to maintain that. It is awesome. And because we don't always eat the right way, we skip a lot of stuff. And usually it's the stuff that tastes not great for us. Field of Greens takes all that away with one glass every single day. Doctors put it together for a specific reason for us. And here's the other thing. They believe in their product so much that they make you this guarantee. You go to your doctor, they'll notice an improvement in your health, or you get your money back, period. That's awesome. Try it now. Get started with 20% off your first order. Just use code Benson at fieldofgreens.com. That's code Benson at fieldofgreens.com.
Kash Patel's just one vote away from being nominated, or rather confirmed, that is, as FBI director. That and other top stories of the day coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One vote. Oh, the excitement. When do you think he goes into the office and gives us that Epstein stuff? Does that happen today?
Hey, can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah, go
This,
for it.
this is actually bothering me. They had a message on the Cryon for Fox News that there were 4 bodies returned to Israel.
Yes.
4 people that they said were murdered, which to me means they were kidnapped and then killed while they were in Hamas custody.
Yeah.
One of them was a 9-month-old
yeah.
baby.
The Barah family.
A 9-month-old baby.
9-month-old. There was I think a 4-year-old, a 9-month-old. That was the youngest one, and they're dead. And that's what I was talking about earlier, because they did the passing of the bodies to the Red Cross. And, they're standing around in all their black ninja outfits with the headbands, and they're shooting their guns in the air. And you're like, this is why, The Israeli people, they want peace, and they see something like that, and they look over to Bibi and go, yeah, well, we're not a fan of you, but go do what you got to do.
Yeah, this poor woman and her children were among the first videos that came out.
Yeah.
on the day of the attack. And, she's holding her sons and weeping as these guys are shoving them into vehicles.
It was
It's terrible.
It is the whole, because the people that have been released, and remember, they've got nothing else. Hamas has nothing else, so they're going to hold on to these. This is their currency.
This is the only thing they have.
And the people that have been released that have been alive, telling the horror stories, but they have said, you're not getting everybody back alive. And there's a lot of them that are dead. And I'm sure there's some of them, they don't even know where they're at. So, and some of that may be the fact that IDF bombed areas and probably, friendly fire killed their own people. But it is, they showed there was a tiny coffin of a little kid. And it wasn't like that kid's been dead for a day or two. That's the horrors of this.
Yeah.
They are animals. They're vicious. And they are... We'll see what happens. I mean, when this, because now everybody's like, Egypt's like, well, we've got a plan. And Jordan's like, well, we've got a plan. Somebody better come up with a plan. And it's got to be a different plan than they get to stick around. Anybody who's got a black outfit like a ninja, an AK-47, and a green headband, you gots to go. And everybody is going to, you're going to have to tell some of these people, you got to get a get-out-of-jail-free card for some of you. Which sounds horrible, but, you're not going to get rid of all of them. But you've got to do something outside the box. And that 9-month-old with the little ginger hair and his little brother, or his older brother, that is eating people up in Israel right now. Big time. I mean, that is eating them up in a major way. And every time you think there could be something else, they do something like this, and they're out there celebrating like they did a good thing. No, you didn't. You kidnapped a child, a baby. And they'll say, they'll say, you guys are bombing us indiscriminately and killing a whole bunch of our people. Well, yeah, some of that is true, except for the fact that why are you hanging out at a school or a hospital?
Exactly.
Why are you doing that? You're hanging out at a hospital. You're at a children's hospital hiding. And you want protection. That, by the rules of the Geneva law, is every death is on your head, not them. Not them at all. Did Cash get there?
He's there.
Oh, good God.
It is confirmed.
Woo! Good God. Well, man. All right, Epstein, let's do this. All right, let's go. I'm going to wait. You guys wait? Let's wait. Well, I'm going to check my email.
They should wait to release the Epstein list as the Diddy trial is going in May.
Oh, that Diddy trial.
That trial is going to be something. If it gets to trial.
It gets there. See if there's any crossover.
Exactly, man.
You know what's going to be interesting? If it doesn't happen, if they don't release this stuff immediately, you know what you're going to find out? Or you know what people are going to start to think? He was a plant. As much as he was a scumbag, they used him and his connections to be able to blackmail tons of people, which I think is probably somewhat true. He was blackmailing people, for sure. But that would be the whole, like just one day of like one thing after another. We got Diddy, we got this. Oh, do you think there's crossover with Diddy and Jay-Z?
Who knows?
Has somebody been to both parties?
Yeah. Well, remember, I think it was last week, one of the accusers dropped the lawsuit that had linked Jay-Z to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they said they couldn't, the time had passed for the civil for it to go by.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see, man. This is it's all happening fast. I mean, I'm waiting now because how many people do you think he's going to fire?
Patel?
Yeah. Everybody's fired. We don't have an FBI. People running wide. Crimes through the roof. Oh, my goodness me. 51-49.
Yep.
Schiff is about to cash me outside, says Brian. Man, every time we joke about cash me outside, the only thing I can think of that girl is she made like $50 million last year. She paid cash for her $12 million home.
Wow.
Just know that. You think college is worth it? Nuh-uh. Being a literate fool is worth it. Coming up, a lot of other stuff to get to. We'll talk a little more about cash. Big game tonight. We're going to talk about that. America, baby. front and center tonight. Tickets as high as Super Bowl tickets. Let's talk about that, bunch of other stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers got some pothole repair going on. That means rolling road blocks in the right two lanes are blocked 65 southbound just past Rosa Parks Boulevard downtown. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Moments ago in our nation's capital.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
And with that, Kash Patel is now the FBI director for the Trump administration. And elsewhere in our nation's capital today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Today marks 1 month of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, and there is no denying this administration is off to a historic start.
National Security Advisor Mike Walls, when asked if Trump is being manipulated by Vladimir Putin over the war in Ukraine.
I, for one, and I think all Americans and around the world should have no doubt about his ability to not only handle Putin, but to handle the complexity of driving this war to an end.
Seven-term Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell says he will not run for an eighth term. The longest-serving Senate leader in U.S. history made the announcement today on his 83rd birthday. ABC News says 2 U.S. officials confirmed that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is preparing to fire or remove a series of top generals and senior officers at the Pentagon. And Reuters says the IRS has already fired 6,000 employees. Delta is offering $30,000 in compensation to every passenger on board that regional jet that flipped upside down upon landing in Toronto. This is one of the passengers, Brian Erickson.
There's some people in pretty tough shape, and $30,000 right now would be extremely helpful.
And turning to sports, NBA star Victor Wembanyama will miss the rest of the season for a health issue. Fox News says the 7'3" tall player named Wemby, or nicknamed Wemby, has been diagnosed with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. The Spurs say it was discovered when he returned to San Antonio after the All-Star game in San Francisco. As many as 100,000 people die of blood clots each year, according to the CDC. Wembanyama is just 21 years old. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
USS, United Structural Systems. You know, with all the stuff happening out there, you've got the cold. What happens? Pipes freezes, water buildup. You don't know what's going on. USS has you covered right now. United Structural Systems wants to make sure that your foundation is good, that those cracks that you might think something potentially bad can be happening there, what if there's far more that's happened? The burst pipes, things of that nature. The snow melts, issues happen for sure, especially that unseen water. It can become a bigger problem if you don't deal with it. Mold, wood rot, even issues when it comes to your structure. So what are you doing? Well, get a hold of United Structural Systems by calling 615-488-7855. They're not going to sell you anything unnecessary. Absolutely free, and they guarantee the best. They're going to come out, they're going to take a look and make sure that you are sound and ready to go. And if there is anything, catching it early matters. If you have any issues or you think you might, don't hesitate. Call USS now, 615-488-7855, or check them out online at USSTN.com. Kash Patel is now the FBI director and curator of the new Museum of the Deepest State. Not just a regular state, the deepest. Fantastic. It's a 10-year, that's a 10-year gig. That's a good gig.
Unless the president asks you to resign.
That's right. You know,
better look out for Mr. Musk.
That's right. Yeah, he may fire him. Hey, I fired Kash because he was ineffective. He's only been there for 10
museum
minutes.
wasn't bringing enough money in. So.
Yeah. It was ineffective. You don't understand. I'm here to do this job for this. He's ineffective. Yes. So how do some people feel about it? This is the perfect example. This is a former FBI guy on CNN.
Frank, I'd like to start with you. How significant of a change does Kash Patel represent for the FBI?
It's a radical change. It really is. I mean, I served under 4 directors in 27 years in the FBI, and no one came in with these few qualifications, with this guy's background, with the conspiracy theory angles, with just all of the things that he has said on podcasts and written in his book. It's just, it makes you wonder, where the Bureau is going to be heading next. It's just, I don't know, befuddling to me.
It's befuddling to me too, sir. I can't believe you didn't crack any crimes. The only crime I went after was bad dress. I listen to that guy and I think to myself, that's what we're there for, right? We want change. Change is uncomfortable. Change can be radical. And by the way, not all change is good. Sometimes you try something and it doesn't work. Being a great leader is knowing, hey, you know what? This didn't go well. This didn't. This did not go as well as we thought it was going to go. And you reverse course. Kash Patel may get in there and he may come in, take a look around and go, okay, hold on a second. Start talking to the people. Start finding out what's going on. Because all of them talk the game. And then you get in and you find out what's happening. And you're like, okay, all right, cool. Looking around, right? We're going to get rid of some of these people we don't need. We've got duplicates. We've got 8 people working over here. There's no reason, to have 33 people, investigating, Pokemon cards or whatever. We don't need 12 agencies for that. You streamline it and you go from there. He may get in and be awful. I don't know. Like I said yesterday, we'll see. Could be the best, could be the worst, could be in between. He may get bored after a few years and go, I'm not like this. But when I hear them, he said stuff on podcasts. He put stuff in books. Yeah, he wore a sweatshirt that really made people uncomfortable. Whatever, that was the one Dick Durbin talked about.
It was made of wool.
It was made of Iranian wool. He's a deep state himself. Jeez. All day. This is all they do. They just look around. National security advisor won't say who Trump believes is more responsible for the war in Ukraine, Putin or Zelensky. Here's more responsible. Putin, period. If you're mad at the West for encroaching, that's one thing. You attacked your neighbor. That's what you did. You attacked your neighbor, and you can be mad at the Americans and NATO and all of everybody else. You can be as mad as you want. That's fine. But you went in there. You did it. So whatever reason you went in there, it was still your move. As you and I were talking about earlier, you can't tell me that Donald Trump was responsible for January 6th. It was those people's actions that was responsible for them getting in trouble. Now, the over-prosecution's one thing, but they did they fought, they did their thing themselves. That was their individual action. You can be mad at the West, but your action, Putin, was going into another country and attacking them.
And his excuse was literally that the government of Ukraine had been taken over by Nazis.
That was his.
He had to get rid of the Nazis in the government. And Zelensky is Jewish.
Yes. Well, of course.
But he's a Nazi.
Is there a group of like ultra nationalists that are on the border who've been fighting with them for a very long time? Yeah, there is. Okay, and it's not all of the country.
It's certainly not their Jewish leader.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like people text, you think he's a good guy, Zelensky? I don't know. I don't know him. He could be a wonderful human being. He might be a bad guy. I don't know him.
There's certainly a level of corruption going on there that we would never tolerate openly.
They were the most corrupt nation in Europe for a very long time. In fact, corruption is one of those things where the way their corruption worked, it was almost like if there wasn't corruption, they would be uncomfortable with it because they expect there to be corruption. But I don't know as a human being what he's like. But do I think he's a better person than Putin? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah. Stop trying to defend a horrible human being because there is no defense for that. I mean, if Joe Biden would have had Donald Trump killed and stopped saying he tried to, you guys would have been out of your mind, as all of us would have been. This guy regularly does that to his people. Regularly does. He snatches people to go fight in his war off the streets. They've lost how many men, not just to war, to leaving and fleeing their country. He has put their country behind the 8 ball for quite a long time. So, do I think Zelensky's a good guy? I think he's part of a system and a machine. And he's going to be not a factor in 6 or 7 months because they'll have an election and he may be there, he may not be there. But I can tell you one thing. Outside of him dying, let me tell you who's going to be there in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Putin. He ain't going anywhere at all. No way. Tonight, guys, it's happening. The game.
It's hockey night in America. Later tonight, the USA men's hockey team will take on Canada in Boston. And if you're not a puck watcher, you might not know this was already one of the most intense hockey rivalries on earth. But in the last week, it has reached new heights. This is part of a 4-team event that just started this year called the Four Nations Tournament. The US, Canada, Sweden, and Finland with their best NHL players vying for bragging rights.
And this Four Nations face-off matchup is underway, and the gloves are off.
So that's how the game started last week. The gloves were off in 2 seconds. That's how the game started. So they all out there. The Four Nations, they didn't do what the NBA does. They usually have a weekend. They decided not to. They decided to do this instead of an all-star weekend. We'll do a Four Nation tournament. So you got Sweden and Finland. Normally Russia would be there, but they couldn't be there because Russia has great hockey players. And then they took the U.S. and Canada, obviously. They booed the anthem, and the Kachuk brothers came out, and they started throwing, as the kids would say, hands. And they did. They threw hands. And it started that way. In fact, by 9 seconds, there was not one, not two, but 3 fights.
And this start, if you can call it that, have we even started reminiscent of the old days?
But it wasn't over. As the game restarted, they began fighting again and again.
I think as a referee, you're saying to yourself, great, let them get this out of their system.
Before 10 seconds had gone off the game clock, there had been 3 brawls. 6 guys were in the penalty box, including Matthew and Brady Kachuk, both Kachuk brothers from Arizona. The crowd was going bananas, and the U.S. ended up winning 3-1.
That's right. And tonight is the night because it's the championship. So Canada had to win Monday. They did. Now they play at Boston. And tickets, single tickets for just by yourself, $1,200 to $1,500. They've got other tickets going anywhere between $9,000 and $10,000 for like the upper.
It's like Super Bowl prices.
They have glass tickets going for like 15, 20, 30 grand in some areas.
Wow.
This is it. So not only are we going to have patriotism because it's in Boston, you're going to have a little racism because it's in Boston. Oh, that's true. Ask any baseball player, basketball player. There's a smidge of that. It's going to be incredible. So they wanted Donald, because Donald Trump has been on this. He's been, because Trudeau went last week to the game, and he's trying to pump the crowd up. And he's like, look at me, eh? And everybody's like, yeah, you're really whatever. And tonight they wanted Trump. Trump says he couldn't come, but he is called. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got a video tonight. Kick their butts, crush their souls. They're awful. They're horrible.
We're going to take their oil.
Take their oil. Take everything about them. And this is like, hockey needs this. If you've never been to a hockey game, first of all, it's awesome. You've been to one game, right, Aaron Bell?
I've been to one hockey game in my life, and it was to see the Preds. I don't remember who they play. I just remember that they kicked their ass in a shootout in double overtime.
It is so much fun. But this has some more meaning. This is the first time these guys have really played together in a meaningful kind of way as a nation. And the numbers, they're expecting probably about 10 to 15 million people to watch tonight, which would make it the number one show of the night, essentially, which is not what hockey does. Easily outdrawing the NBA and a lot of other things outside of the NFL. And even my friends who don't watch it are like, yeah, I'm totally going to watch this.
You know how they always like to say how polite Canadians are?
Yeah.
They're polite because when they're rude, we kick their ass.
That's right. That's right.
You want to boo our national anthem? Here's a fist in your player's face.
I want to see what happens tonight with that because, it's Boston again. Very patriotic. And,
yes.
Be good. But if you boo, I get it. Trump's going to say something like that.
Oh, man, I think we're just amped for the opportunity. I mean, this whole week and a half has been, so much fun. The camaraderie that we've built in the locker room, just spending time with guys that, it's been a while since some of us have played with each other, and we've all kind of gone our separate ways now in the NHL. But, man, the guys are just amped. It's going to be an awesome opportunity for us tomorrow.
And they're playing at the Gardens. TD Gardens.
I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, I've been on the other side of that building, a couple times before, but it's one of the best away rinks in my opinion. The atmosphere is always great, so I'm looking forward to being on the right side. I know it's going to be rocking, and I know I'm going to get chills when I start hearing those USA chants. So,
yep. And tonight I want to see the anthem. It's going to be awesome tonight. So that is happening tonight. USA, Canada. My prediction: lots of fights early, but then the game will get serious. And once it gets kind of like serious after everybody's burned the steam off, it's going to be back and forth, lots of hitting. I think the USA pulls it off tonight, like 5-3, 4-2, something like that. So I'm pumped, baby.
High scoring.
I know, right? Because I think they're going to get out. Because I think Canada's going to put pressure on it because Canada has the best player. If you don't know who he is, it's Connor McDavid. The guy's a freak. He's an absolute, just incredible. But
well, maybe we should break his nose.
I think we tried to do that last game.
1445 said it's Boston. If you're from the wrong side of Boston, they still boo you. So Bostonians will boo Bostonians.
They will. They don't care. They don't care. The only person who ever went to Boston, left Boston, and got cheered was Ray Bork coming back. So this is going to be awesome tonight. Ray Bork was great. Coming up, more stuff here. Bunch of other stuff. More about Cash Patel. Got some of your text messages as well. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens has a 90-day challenge. You guys hear me talk about Rough Greens all the time. Well, Rough Greens has something amazing going on right now. It's a 90-day challenge for your dog. So they have stuff for your cats. I give my cats Meow Greens, but this is a challenge to show you that your dog can transform over 90 days and be healthier than ever before. So it's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369. It is one scoop a day on top of their food, and watch what happens. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag. It's free. It's a $20 value. You get it for free. Just cover the cost of shipping. The first 30 days, you're going to see a lot of things. Shinier coat, more energy. Day 60, your immune system is going to be so much stronger. Shedding is going to be virtually gone. And the joint functions are there because live enzymes inside of the food. And by day 90, better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved heart health. It's incredible. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free and take the 90-day challenge with them. Go to ruffgreens.com. Use code Chad. That's roughgreens.com. Use code Chad.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
All right, drivers still got a rolling roadblock blocking the right 2 lanes, 65 southbound, just past Rosa Parks Boulevard for pothole repair. And more emergency road work. This time it's 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass. Kash Patel is the new FBI director. I think all we're waiting on now is the swearing in. And President Trump's given the U.S. hockey team a pep talk before tonight's face-off with Canada. Hear from Senator Jack Hughes about how that went down coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So I'm sure you're all hearing about Fort Knox this morning, but something you haven't heard. The picture's going around. I have seen it. I should have took a picture of it so I could show you. But they found a gold bar. They sliced it in half. And you know what they found inside? It wasn't gold. It was silver, covered in gold. There's about to be a huge-ass audit. Elon is going to audit Fort Knox. With that being said, I'm pretty sure that gold is going to take out the Fed. It's getting real.
Oh! Did you guys hear that? Gold's not real. Silver. Oh, my God. I love conspiracy theories.
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold. Look. What if he goes there and there isn't any gold? Well, that would be interesting. I said today that I think there are aliens in there and the gold's in the Area 51. But let's say he goes there and there isn't any gold. Boy, that'd be a story. And he knows he can't tell anybody. See, that's the thing. Because he knows it'll send everybody into a panic. Things will go sideways and everything will collapse. So do you really think he's going to go in there and go, I'm going to expose everything and watch us collapse? No, that's not going to happen. Somebody said, what'd they do with the gold? I have no idea. That's a great. We're going to find that out. Trump's like, we're going to find it out. If it's true, there's no gold. Not good. Not good at all. There's gold there. I don't know how much gold. I mean, do we even know how much gold is supposed to be there?
I have no idea, man.
It's mysterious. It's always, since I was a kid, it's been mysterious. It's always been super. It's like that doesn't, trying to get into Fort Knox. Well, we're going to find out what happens at Fort Knox. But I think that we're going to find out that there's gold. But it's not going to, again, this lady right here, you hear her, she's like, gold is not there. It's not real. And it's made of cheese. And everybody knows it. You know, and that person's always looking for a conspiracy. That person's never happy if there's not a conspiracy. But do I think there's gold there? I do. How much gold? I don't even know how much is supposed to be there. That's what I always hear. There's all the gold. How much is all the gold? I have no idea. Is it like a gazillion dollars? I have no idea. I could not tell you how much is there. But we're going to find out.
It's supposed to be holding $290.9 billion worth of gold.
I would have thought it would be more than that, wouldn't you?
Says it represents 56.35% of the gold reserves in the U.S.
Well, there you go, then. The rest of it is in a bunch of people's teeth. Oh, coming up. Third hour, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And road crews are not wasting any time getting after those potholes that everybody's been talking about with this winter storm and bitter cold we're dealing with. Right now, Metro Center got a rolling roadblock. The right 2 lanes are blocked 65 southbound, just past Rosa Parks Boulevard for pothole work. Some emergency road work in Glencliff now. This is, according to TDOT, we got 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass. So be aware of that, drivers. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Well, it's a done deal in our nation's capital. Kash Patel should be sworn in as the nation's new FBI director.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the president will be immediately notified of the Senate's actions.
President Trump, meanwhile, giving the U.S. hockey team a pep talk before tonight's 4 nations face-off final against Canada. This is Senator Jack Hughes.
It was good. Just said he was watching and excited to watch tonight.
Was it over the phone, or how did he communicate?
Yeah, over the phone.
How did it make you feel?
Good. Definitely cool when the president's, talking to us as a group, so pretty cool.
How does it add to your motivation?
I don't know. I think we're motivated enough. I think we're in a good spot, but definitely we'd like to come through with this one tonight.
Puck drops at 7 o'clock Middle Tennessee time. Another sports story here. 21-year-old NBA phenom Victor Wembanyama's season is over. The 7'3" tall Spurs star, nicknamed Wemby, has been diagnosed with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. As many as 100,000 people die of blood clots each year, according to the CDC. The Menendez brothers, convicted decades ago for the murders of their parents in 1989, are speaking from behind bars ahead of next month's hearing over whether they should be freed, even though they were convicted.
In a phone call from behind bars, Lyle and Eric Menendez told a TMZ podcast hosted by their attorney, Mark Garagos, and TMZ's Harvey Levin that they are eagerly awaiting their resentencing hearing set for next month, which was delayed from December to then January and now March.
I think we're mostly dealing with the reactions of our family, who are very anxious, and the delays are very upsetting for them.
They claim in the podcast they have evolved over the 35 years that they've been in prison.
That's Alex Stone and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
ZB. ZB. Guys, HVAC is important. Has it been a little cold outside? You want to make sure it's warm? Busy Bee's got you covered. How about those pipes? They burst. You need some issues. Oh, my God. Stuff's going. Back it up. It's crazy. Busy Bee has you covered. But you want to be at the front of the line. That's why you want to join the famous Beehive Club. And let me tell you what you get with it. Let's just say it's an important day, and all of a sudden your plumbing backs up. But everybody's got an issue. Oh, my goodness. You're at the top of the line. Busy Bee comes on out. That's why you join the club. That's what's important. Whether it is your HVAC and you need your air ducts cleaned, you need a new HVAC. They're going to give you free air ducts if you buy one of those. Tankless water heaters. They're coming out. They're going to help you. How about this? You got a mainline issue? Camera, they're coming out. Not going to charge you for any of that. They're going to show you, hey, you're part of the Beehive Club. We're going to cut you a deal, too, when you do the work with us. Join it today, and don't worry about what happens with your HVAC or your plumbing because, yes, Busy Bee has you covered. Bzz. Call Busy Bee, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 775-7833. Join the Beehive Club, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. Thunderstruck. Kash Patel is there. Firing generals. My God, it's all happening. D.C. is a flurry with action. Why are we firing the generals? Do we know? Oh, these the DEI woke generals?
I haven't heard why they're firing the generals.
Oh, I see. Here we go. Admiral Lisa Franchinetti. They're saying they're seen as too political. They're purging everything. But you know what? When you become a general, it's a political thing at that point in time. You know, when you start getting stars, that's politics. Like everything. The minute you move from being out in the field to behind a desk and you're briefing people and people are briefing you, you've entered the realm of politics.
When you're briefing a politician, you have to be a politician.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but true. It is very true. It's a sad situation that we have a nation that doesn't trust each other anymore. And you see it with like the Doge, all the people freaking out. Oh my God, they're taking away all the stuff. Oh, what are you doing? You know, who are you playing that for? You're playing it for nobody. You don't like the fact that they're taking away your money because money is controlled because the people that help the bureaucracy help you. The only people you're talking to. It was interesting, and I'm going to play something from Chris Scalise, who used to be on CNN. He's really good, independent, very interesting guy. And he's so right about, you know, how blind in the blind spot that the Democrats have when it comes to what's happening out there and how they're missing everything and how everything that Trump does, they're completely against, even if they're honest and they know that, yeah, a lot of this stuff is BS and we need to get rid of it.
You played Jamie Raskin earlier. He represents, just outside of D.C., Montgomery County in Maryland. Fine. There's a lot of federal workers who live there. That's fine for him, although that chant probably needs work. But the average person who doesn't live in and around Washington has no idea what these things are and why you wouldn't want to cut some of the waste from them. And so, no, again, you and I have talked about this on air and off air, and I think it's really important because I think it's a fundamental fact of how Democrats are positioning themselves, whether intentionally or unintentionally. They just have a blind spot with Trump. No idea he proposes can be even a good idea. Again, if it was proposed by James P. Public, Republican president, they'd be like, okay, well, maybe. But because it is him and because the loathing is so, and it is, I use that word advisedly, but they hate him.
Right.
Every idea is a bad idea. And I just think it leads to some poor strategic conclusions if your goal is, as Democrats' goal should be, getting some power back. Because they're out of power at every single level at the state and federal government.
That's right. The blind spot that they have is Trump with everything. But the Doge is a perfect example of watching them fight for something that affects a very tiny, minute amount of people that mostly live in D.C. That's where most of these people live. They live in D.C., and they're part of the bureaucracy. They're only, a vast majority of them, they're such big lobbyists for government. And the government is lobbying itself to stay in business. And it's not even about firing people because, hey, you may have done a good job. You know what? The reality is we also have to modernize. I mean, that's one of the other things that's not being talked about. We talked about it earlier with flying. Do you realize how back-assward our air traffic control is? We are using stuff from the 40s, the 50s, the 80s, and the late 90s, early 2000s. It's like everybody else is playing, VR, Oculus, and they're doing all these amazing video games, and they're operating on a ColecoVision. Remember the handheld one where it just had the red?
Yeah, it was just the red LED, and you're playing football, and I'm going to kick the ball. Well, that's also a little red.
Yeah. And baseball, it was just beep, beep, and you'd push the button. You didn't know where the ball. There's no ball. That's how bad it is. Nobody's talking about why are we not streamlining in certain ways. Why are we not looking at these things? We could sit here and talk. The 58 billion or 60 billion or whatever it's going to be in this first little round that they're going to try and cut. Remember, so many of these things are going to end up in court for a very long time. Trump may be out of office for years before some of this stuff gets settled. That being said, doesn't mean you don't do it, but the streamlining side of it is so much more important. The amount of money we have lost because nobody could figure out how to code in a button that says, click this so we can trace where it goes. God. It's insane. It is so insane. I mean, it's crazy. And think about, I read an article, this guy pulled off a scam. I don't even know if it's a scam. I mean, he got busted for it. He would send major corporations a small bill for like $8 or something ridiculous, and they would pay it for just some weird thing. And they would just send him. That's our government. Because they didn't check. They didn't know what it was. It was so big, it was not a big deal. And that's how big, I mean, $58 billion really is not saving the world here. It's less than 1%. But it's the fact that all you needed to do was just do one little thing. Part of this isn't about just cutting some of the stuff, because we're not getting rid of all of it. It's about streamlining and becoming modern. I mean, the limestone thing, it's funny, Kalisa talked about it. He goes, my buddy wrote about that in 2010. 2010. We keep stuff in files in a limestone cave. How insane is that? That is, the good news is you can't hack into it. That may be
that's
the
actually
goodness.
a big consideration in this day and age.
But this is all people who are retiring. And it's mind-boggling that we live this way. But the left has lost its plot, and they're fighting for the wrong things. And their latest one is going to be what goes on with the Department of Education. Do you know that the Department of Education, since its inception, funding for education has gone up 1,200%. Scores have gone up less than 2%. Think about that. Think about all that insanity of all of the amount of money. And by the way, the only people that the Department of Education and the teachers union, they're the only ones who believe in any of this stuff. And I'm talking about the union heads.
No, the unions treat it like it's a gravy train.
Yeah, and it's not about the teachers. I just want to point this out. It's not about the teachers. None of this is about ending up in the classroom. Go look at how many administrators have been hired comparatively to teachers. Go look at that. The amount of teachers is minuscule compared to the amount of administrators.
The disparity between the two is just shocking.
And the money. It's like, wait a minute, you're in the classroom, you're busting your butt, you're putting up with our kids. And you're making this, and this administrator's over here making far more money with less headache?
Teacher's using her own money to buy supplies for her classroom, and there's an administrator making $250,000 a year who never steps in one.
No. It was in one a long time ago, then decided to get a master's degree, and then decided to get into the political side of stuff and work their way up. It's nuts. And they are fighting. Of all of the things, that's the hill that I think they're absolutely going to really try to die on, because they know they're losing a lot of this, because I think they're starting to realize, well, wait a minute here. What do you mean? These kids in Puerto Rico don't want to know what gender they could be? But we got a coloring book.
And we already spent $42 million making it.
$42 million, right? Tim's wife makes coloring books. And now you're going to, this is the last bastion, I think, for them, because it's falling on deaf ears and the desperation. And they got today, just getting Kash Patel over the line, watching their theatrics in front of the FBI was fantastic. Let's listen to some of that wackiness, shall we? Where do we start here? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go with Dick Durbin, because he waxed poetic, as young Ken would say.
On this brisk morning, my fellow Democratic Senate Judiciary Committee colleagues and I are here at the FBI headquarters today on the day the Senate Republicans have scheduled a vote to confirm Kash Patel, President Trump's nominee for FBI director. We stand outside the building that Mr. Patel on one day plans to, quote, shut down and reopen the next day as a museum of the deep state. That is one of many of the bizarre political statements made by the man who is asking for 10 years as director of the FBI.
Well, he got it. He got 10 years as director of the FBI, and all the crying, all the whining, all the moaning. But he said stuff. He wrote stuff in a book, because you know what, guys? Nobody would put stuff in a book that would be a little sensational. Nobody would go on to say a podcast and say something a little sensational. Not a soul.
Judiciary Committee what crimes it was that he was concerned about that caused him to plead the Fifth. Kash Patel, mark my words, will cause evil in this building behind us, and Republicans who vote for him will rue that day.
You can tweet at me, at Chad Benson Show. Jim just tweeted me. So the museum opens tomorrow? I'm not quite sure when the museum opens.
I'm curious about something. I've been credibly told by a lot of leftists that Trump is absolutely racist. So what is he doing nominating an Indian American to the head of the FBI if he's such a racist?
Because that's part of the plan.
Is that how he keeps track of him?
He's like, we got to keep somebody around that is a person of color, a BIPOC.
Of course.
So I can show everybody how not racist I am. So that way I can run it down and do racist things. It's a perfect cover.
Kash Patel is a crown jewel in this lawless rampage. He's an instrument of Donald Trump's effort to destroy the Justice Department and the FBI so that he is absolutely and completely not only above the law, but beyond the law.
Ooh, above the law and beyond the law.
I mean, that's a double whammy there.
That is.
Thank goodness they didn't let him get around the law.
I know. Woo! Above? So think about this, people. You're chasing something, and they are in front of you. They're getting away. They're pulling away. They're in front. Then they go above you and in front. You can't stop them. It's like Superman. Can't catch him. Can't stop him. Isn't going to happen. Oh, my Lord. Welcome to the world of theatrics. And that's what all that is. It's theatrics. I don't know who that's for. Outside of us making fun of it, who's it for? Do you think that somebody's at home, a Democrat, who decided to vote for Trump and is seeing their grocery bills continue to rise, but realize that it's come for the last several years, and you can blame Trump all you want, but that's a bunch of baloney.
But, Chad, he's had 30 days to get prices down. 30 days!
30 days, that's right, 30 days. And out of those 30 days, that hasn't happened. Oh, my God, it's all his fault. But those people are still realizing as they've woken up from their Democratic days and gone, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a chance, and you're not going to get me to come back at any given point in the next year or so unless stuff really melts down. And so far, he said he was going to do all these things. I told him, you could do all these things with my vote. He's doing them. Now, if Kash Patel blows the FBI up and a bunch of stuff is missed and there's a terror attack or something like that, all bets are off. If he goes in there, though, you know what's not going to happen? If a year or two from now, everything's rolling smooth and the economy's good, you're not going to hear the Democrats come out and go, well, you know what? He didn't blow up the FBI. You're not going to hear them say any of that stuff. Because this is theatrics right here. This is about playing to a certain audience, and that audience is gone. So right now, they're talking to themselves. They're doing a show for themselves. It's a dress rehearsal for something important. I know it. Coming up. More good stuff on the way. The cartels have been designated evil and a terrorist organization. We'll talk about that as well. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital. Would you call my buddy? Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark, 866-779-RISK today, or check out Know Your Risk Radio. They're doing something awesome. They do it once a month. It's happening March 20th. It is a Thursday. It's 3:30 Pacific. That would be 5:30 here. It is a situation where you can sit down and see what it is they're all about when it comes to their investing. So whether you're just really starting to get into it, you're starting to think about retirement, you're starting to think about where you want to go with your investing, Bulwark is there for you from the beginning to the end. And they love this. We were joking one day with Zach. He does his portfolios about the first 100 days, his buildup, and what he is looking at for the first 100 days. They're going to show you what they're all about, lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, how they can give you the most upside potential. They said, think of it as a department of retirement efficiency and investment efficiency. It's free. It's about 30 minutes. You'll learn a lot. I promise you that. Worst case scenario is you part as friends. No hard sell or anything like that. Sign up today at knowyourriskradio.com, KNOW, yourriskradio.com for your portfolio review, or call 866-779-RISK today. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 25137. It's the Chad Benson Show. Wellness Institute wants to make sure you feel awesome, especially when it comes to your back. Right now, in honor of the 47th president, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. The big 47 offer going on right now. And it is, man, let's be real. Your back is not good. Ooh, you like golfing, but you can't do it anymore. You like going out dancing, you can't do it anymore. Let them help you. And who are they? Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, experts and the best around. During your consultation, get an exam, x-rays included if needed, or you can bring an MRI report to review for the doctor. They're going to go over your condition and put a game plan together that's going to get you feeling better. You want this year to be great. You want to get back doing the things you used to do. They're going to help you. There is no surgery, right? They're not going to creams or pills. This is about you, your back, working on with all these amazing machines. getting you up and running in a way that you haven't been for a while. It's time to get pain-free, get back to that life. It is possible. Call today. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com.
Looks like we may have just had a terror attack in Israel. We'll tell you about that in a moment. First, drivers, I got to tell you about the pothole repairs going on out there. Rolling roadblock, blocking the right 2 lanes, 65 southbound past Rosa Parks Boulevard. And then again, 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass. Got all the news coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6 of those 8 groups are cartels based here in Mexico. The 2 household names would be the Jalisco cartel and the Sinaloa cartel. And look, the Mexican government is not in favor of this designation. They say that this will only harm the joint abilities of both countries to attack these cartels.
So these cartels are, I was interested to see that Los Zetas was not on there. I don't know if they folded into a new one, but I didn't think they did. But Jalisco Next Generation or Nueva Generation is the one that on theirs, and there's 6 of them, I think. That they're bad news. Like they're like the stuff that they're doing and the violence they're showing is tremendous. And now that they've designated them terror organizations, people are asking the questions like, will there be any military actions?
Officially, this designation just gives more financial pathways, really, to target those who are in the cartels, those who are supporting the cartels. It doesn't lay any sort of legal framework to engage in unilateral military action here in Mexico. What it could do, according to some analysts, is give the Trump administration down the road a justification for carrying out strikes, let's say, in Mexico against the cartels.
That's going to be, I want to see the first time, because they've been flying those Reaper drones, but they're not active and ready for any kind of battle. They're just taking a peek and also showing off, right? Because again, those things that we have, yeah, they talk about all the stuff that the cartels have, and they have a lot of stuff, a lot more than I think people realize. And they are trained in some ways, not all of them, but a lot of them are. That's how Los Zetas started. They were special forces in Mexico. And I know we're training now. We've got Green Berets helping and train some of the federales and the police over there. But one of the things that you can't put any kind of like price or thought into when it comes to this is just how violent and what they're willing to do. And that's why, are they going to make the move first? Are we going to do something first? Are we going to launch something to send a message? And does that spill out back over here? And what does Mexico do at that point?
When it comes to the actual operations that law enforcement undertakes to target these cartels, it's not really clear what exactly this designation will do other than expand the list of people who could be charged for materially supporting terrorism under this designation. But realistically, all the tools that are already in the U.S. arsenal to combat organized crime remain. This doesn't really change anything. What Mexico says is that it just makes this more complicated.
Because the stuff that we've done in the past with the Reaper drones and several of the others, we've done with Mexico's consent. And now, by doing this, Trump has basically told the CIA and everybody who's operating these things, you don't have to get consent from them. You don't have to get it. We're doing this. You can just go and if you want, you could just do it as far as going over and taking a peek, which is needed. I mean, look, it's gotten horrific. It has. And as bad as it is for us, think about the people on the other side of the border, the horrors that they're going through in and around the border in certain areas in particular, and how violent. I used to go to Tijuana once a month when I was young. It was just right across the border. It's now the most violent city in the world. I mean, outside of what's going on maybe in a few other places. But as far as it's a big city. And the amount of people that are getting killed on a daily basis, it's crazy. We were talking yesterday about Clearasil and all the acne medicine. That's where everybody went. By the way, if you ever need dental work too, I'll tell you this. Fly to Yuma, and you can go right across the border. Man, they got all of these amazing dentists. And we're talking all, Harvard and Yale trained kind of dentist, and they're all from America, but they work across the way. And they'll put you up in a hotel for 3 days, and you get like a massage just to get your, your new teeth or something. It's incredible.
So do they, will they also give you an additional can of nitrous to take with you?
They'll get, that's the other thing.
That comes with the new toothbrush and floss.
There's not a lot of rules when it comes to their pharmacies and whatnot. They don't give you nitrous, but they may give you some other stuff. Coming up, we've got a lot of other stuff. Got some of your text messages, a bunch of other things as well. If you're missing the show, we say what, Belle?
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, we've got some road work underway, getting rid of those potholes. Rolling roadblock right, 2 lanes, block 65 southbound past Rosa Parks Boulevard. And then emergency road work and a stalled vehicle right now, 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass, reported by TDOT. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. In our nation's capital.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
Kash Patel confirmed as FBI director. Illinois, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin among Democrats who spoke out before the vote.
Let's be honest about what's going on here. There's an effort to have Soviet-style historical revision.
One of Kentucky's U.S. senators says 7 terms is enough.
Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime.
Mitch McConnell, turning 83 years old today, chose today to announce he will not be seeking an 8th term. He was first elected to the U.S. Senate in 1984. We see a report from Reuters, which says the IRS has already fired 6,000 employees, with the cuts focused on those hired during the Biden administration. And ABC News says 2 U.S. officials confirmed to it that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is preparing to fire or remove a series of top generals and senior officers at the Pentagon. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says the U.S. did not consult Mexico on the new cartel terrorist designation today, calling it an opportunity for the U.S. to invade her country's sovereignty. Here's Matt Rivers from Mexico City.
So those 8 groups are cartels based here in Mexico. The 2 household names would be the Jalisco cartel and the Sinaloa cartel. And look, the Mexican government is not in favor of this designation. They say that this will only harm the joint abilities of both countries to attack these cartels.
Stay tuned. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Birch Gold right now. Man, let me tell you something about gold. We're just talking about Fort Knox. So it's great to have gold if there's no gold there. Let me tell you something about why gold's important for diversification when it comes to your retirement and your investments across the board. It's a great way to hedge yourself, not only in a situation where inflation's involved and the weakening of a dollar, but it's a safe haven for all kinds of crazy times. And right now, you can get a free copy of the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era, along with Birch Gold's free information kit on gold. All you have to do is text the word Benson to 989898 today. It's a great way to protect your family's future, stress-free as well when it comes to transitions, and maybe if you got a 401k or an IRA or something like that, you want to transfer it over. It's simple and easy to do. It's not going to cost you a penny as well. Text the word Benson now to 989898 to receive your free copy of the Ultimate Guide to Gold in the Trump Era with a forward done by Don Jr., as well as Birch Gold's free information kit. Don't wait. Text now, Benson, to 989898 today for Birch Gold. So we've got our big due on the big night, Trump's triumphant return. It is the State of the Union. It's happening at the Nashville Palace. You can get tickets. Check out the website. Go there now. Come out, see me, yell at me. It's totally free to yell at me. I mean, you got to pay to get in. But once you get in, you can yell at me. You can yell at Ken. You can yell at Bell that's not going to be there, Bell. You can yell at us to yell at Bell for you.
You can do it in all caps.
Ooh, I like that. You know people are serious when it's all caps. So what time does it start? 6, right? 7? 6? 5? Not quite sure.
6 p.m.
6. That's what seems right. So we're going to head out there, though, and we're going to jump on Matt's show. We're going to take it over.
Yeah, Murphy will be out there at 3.
That's right. We're going to do 90 minutes of nonstop music to kick off the show. That'd be awesome. Hey, did you mention something about a terror attack? What's the deal?
Yeah, Israel says that 3 buses, there have been explosions on 3 commuter buses in Israel. No casualties. But the report is that there were explosions on 3 buses in Israel, and terror is suspected.
That's right. That is insane. Wow. On a day they returned the bodies of a family that included a 9-month-old and I think 4-year-old and their mother.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Good God. What an absolute nightmare. That place is... What do you do with a place like that? I mean, for all the talk of Trump and the wackiness and stuff, that because he says stuff, as we all know, he's been known to be hyperbolic. He's been known to say some stuff to get you to pay attention. He's not wrong, though, about you got to come at this in a different way. How long have they been fighting? I don't know. How long's the desert been there?
Yeah.
That's how long. And it is a nightmare that when you think about the amount of lives that have been lost, and I feel for the Palestinian people. Everybody's like, well, they chose them. Yeah, they chose them back then. They did. Because you got to think about how miserable it is to live there. And we look at them as terrorists. We understand that because we look at Israel and think, we know that if they put down their weapons, that they're not going to go over and indiscriminately kill all day like some people in colleges think is going to happen, that if Israel, if Palestine laid down their weapons, that was going to happen. But the fact is they are kept in the dark, and one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. And their business is terror, and it's awful. Wouldn't wish this on anybody. But good God, it's time to get modern. Isn't it amazing? The where we live and how we live. And you look around the world in certain places and how just awful it is. How horrible it's been run, how corrupt it is. I mean, several of you have chimed in about Zelensky's corrupt, that he's just as bad as Putin. Settle down. That's not even close. But for as corrupt as they are, can you imagine some of these countries, how truly corrupt they are? Like we can't even fathom it. And we're talking big numbers. Our corruption, though, comes with suits and ties, and we've made it legal to be corrupt. It's so bizarre, too, the way that we do it. We're like, all right, here's the deal. You can't actually hand me the money. You've got to give it to Bell, who set up a special bank account for us. And that's legal. And then Bell has his own PAC, and then we get stuff from it. Just mind-boggling, the insanity of this. Democrats struggling, as you guys know. They're crying, a lot of crying going on. Come on. It's kind of funny and it's sad at the same time. And trust us, let me tell you, before the show, I was sitting there minding my business, right, singing songs about happiness, and Bell's like, Chad, look at this thing on the internet. And he shows it to me. And it's a poor girl whose eye is turned in.
I did. You are lying through your teeth.
He shows this to me.
You are lying through your teeth, sir.
I didn't want to look at it, but I giggled a little bit. And then he went and showed it to poor Ken, who also giggled a little bit. Yes.
You are lying through your teeth, sir.
Maybe I am. Because, as I said yesterday, the comments are the greatest thing on the internet.
I think she's doing it on purpose, man. Yeah. I do.
For the attention, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's this lady who is... So you think she's turning her eye in on purpose?
I think she is.
She is. She's very, like, super Christian, super, like, let's do, purity in the whole 9 yards. And one of her eyes is I don't know what you call it. It's
cockeyed.
She's cross-eyed.
Yeah, but she's cross-eye.
One is going in, the other one is normal.
Yes. So somebody's going to probably tell us what that is and tell us they're the word jerks, and they probably have it or something. But I happened to tell Bell I don't want to see anything like that. I'm not that kind of person. And he insisted with his vulgarity to look at the comments. And people are so cruel. One person says, "Why don't you get it fixed?"
They were pretty abusive.
They were. It was horrible.
That's that's how social media is.
It is. And it's the same thing here. It's like when I see these people who are getting fired or they're going on interviews and they're putting stuff on social media, I'm like, really? Like, you're doing that? Why are you doing that to yourself?
I have a message from corporate for you.
Yes, tell me. Nah, I don't think so.
Hello. I was a federal worker who had 1 month left of her probationary period, and today I was told that I will be terminated at some point this week. I'm utterly devastated. I'm confused because my recent performance evaluation was exceptional, and I got upwards of $1,500 as a bonus because my performance was so good, and this was my dream job. And it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless with their dog now.
I'm sorry. I can't not laugh at that.
That cannot be serious.
Yeah, it is. But what is my response supposed to be as a human being? You're supposed to be, but my human nature is, you're a dumbass. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be homeless, and I'm not going to have a dog anymore. What are we going to do? Trust me, it'll be easier to find the dog a home.
They don't care about our species that we're trying to conserve. That's exactly what my job was doing. It was just to assess habitat conservation for species for a 55-year habitat conservation plan. We should all be so mad right now. We should all be crying like this because I'm just devastated.
Oh, my.
Shut up.
My goodness.
But people do that all day for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was trying to avoid my TikTok feed last night.
Why? What was
I just had to put it down, man. Because, like, every person that came up, there was a guy pretending to be a redneck out in the woods, upset that Trump got elected.
Really?
And then there's another guy he's threatening Trump to a fight.
No, a fight.
It just one after another. And I just wanted recipes.
Just want to make how do I make these barbecue pork chops amazing in the cold weather?
It's just ridiculous, man.
Okay, some people have chimed in. The lady has blue eyes. One blue one way, one blue the other. See?
That was a comment.
That was Bell.
That was in the
That was Bell who put that out. He put that out there.
If our boss is listening, I'd like to have a word with him after
One
the show.
person said that's called googly-eyed.
Googly moogly eyes.
Oh, goodness. But you're right, though, man. I don't know. The comments are the best thing, though, because I go right to them now. I don't even care what you're saying at this point. The minute
People
I
are
see
so
crime,
brutal, too.
And you go right to the comments. You see people say, I sprained my ankle trying to get to the comments. Oh, my Lord. It's just awful. Biden didn't care about the homeless vets, with or without dogs. There you go. Did you see those two dogs that got electrocuted in Chicago?
Goodness.
So what happened was, and this is only Chicago, right? It had to do with the manhole covers. I don't know if they're heated or something. And one dog got shocked and he survived. The another dog died almost instantly. And now they're telling everybody, your dog should wear, you're fine because you're wearing rubber-soled. Your dog should also wear rubber-soled shoes.
Wonder how much those would cost.
Yeah, try getting those on.
Yeah, exactly.
Screw. I don't care if they're free. Try getting them on.
And if you do get them on, please videotape it for TikTok or Instagram or something so we can watch the dog walking in them.
Ken, it's a question for you.
Yes.
Especially because you're a professional. You're good friends with the Amish because they make you mattresses. This is a question for Ken. Do you follow the Amish girl that does all the cooking, but she never blinks?
You know what? I will. That's a good idea. I see what's going on.
And I like how, Ken's all. No, I think that girl's eye. She's doing it on purpose. I don't think she is.
Yeah, she might really be. I don't know, man. I think there's so much trolling out there.
Oh, there totally is.
And yeah,
you just can't assume anymore that it's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the first thing. Because I'll see stuff and I think, that's interesting. But then I'm like, there's no way this person's real. You cannot be, oh my God, you don't care that I'm trying to save a species. It was a 60-year project.
And I just got a bonus. Why are federal workers being bonused?
I have never understood that. If you say, all right, here's the deal. You guys got a $60 million budget. And if you guys get everything done this year under budget, you can have 5% of whatever's left over, and you guys split it with yourself. Okay, but you don't. What you end up doing is going over budget so you can get your budget filled next year, and you get a bonus to save the wee willy winky worm. Who's doing a 60-year project to study a species?
Yeah.
First of all, last time I checked, climate change is here. We don't have 60 years.
No.
It's too late. Somebody I saw somebody the other day said it's too late. It's already happened. I'm like, okay, well then I'm not even going to try at all now. There goes my LED lights. Give me some of those old ones. Coming up, we're going to wrap it up. We got a guy by the name of Matt Murphy. He's going to come straight on in. Don't go anywhere. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
The yeas.
It is the Chad Benson Show. As we wrap up today, some of you are mad because I didn't get on a subject of value because I was making other people laugh. How
Wait,
dare
you made someone mad?
Always make somebody mad. That's
As a talk show host?
Yeah, so I'm doing my job.
That's how you get paid, buddy.
That is how I get paid. What are you talking about today? What value thing are you talking about? Don't have fun.
I'm going to, I don't know. I need to analyze whether or not I'm tired of winning.
Okay.
I think I need to revisit the old Trump quote, and I need to figure out if I might be tired of winning. I might be at the point that I am personally tired of winning.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know how many of these are going to end up being wins, though. Like so many. I was looking at how many court cases are out there, and it's like I love watching European soccer, but now they score a goal, they celebrate, and they all turn around because they know it's going to go to the video assistant referee. So there may not be a goal, or there may not. Or there may be a goal.
But my response to that is, and I would push back in this way. So we're not supposed to try to get America back because the bureaucracy that's ruining it is going to fight back?
No. I just say before, a lot of people are cashing those checks, and that check hasn't actually cleared. They're spending that money.
And I do like the number of people that, speaking of checks, got excited about getting money back. And I'm like, no, that's not I don't think that's the point of all of it. That $5,000 thing?
No.
I don't think that's the point of all of this. I think the point of all of this is that we're overspending by about $1 trillion. We need to stop the overspending, because if you get your money back and we continue to overspend as a result of you getting a bunch of money back, then the problem still exists.
Yeah, we're going to see more inflation too. So let's not. And I thought the whole thing was to save some of this money. Why are you sending it out? Why are you even thinking of that?
I know, and frankly, I think it was just an idea that was floated that the media glommed on because they thought that they could ding the Trump administration as a result of it. But no, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I like the fact that the zones being flooded in the courts, and that's up to individuals that don't want Trump to accomplish any of these things, right? Yeah. I mean, they're the ones that are filing the cases. So, clog up the courts and let's see what happens. I'm ready to go. I'm talking about some Tennessee stuff today. There's Gino Bolso is going to stop by. Representative Bolso. I like Representative Bolso. He's not afraid of a controversial topic, and he wants to he wants to pass what is called one flag legislation in the state of Tennessee, meaning that only and technically it's not one flag, it's two flags. That only two flags are going to be flown at any government installation or on government property in the state of Tennessee. And that would be the symbol of sovereignty of the United States of America and the symbol of sovereignty of the state of Tennessee. And I'm all about it.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I mean, I think it eliminates all of the rest of it. And there's a couple of designations that they're making exceptions for. And that's the devil's in these details, right? What exceptions are we going to make and for what organizations?
Yeah, like what? Like at a school, if it's a private school, it's a Christian school, they're going to have the Christian flag. Is that okay?
Yeah, school flags, whatever their school flag designation might be, school flags are okay. POWMIA flag, obviously, those types of designations. But we'll figure all of that out at 3:30, and then we'll talk in the 4 o'clock hour. I have a guy coming on. He is a former president of the Jefferson County Commission. Jefferson County, Alabama, went through the largest municipal bankruptcy in American history in the mid-2000s. It was larger than, I think, Orange County in California. California had one municipality bankruptcy that happened, and this one beat it. And David Carrington went through austerity measures where he cut 40% of government in Jefferson County.
And now they don't exist, right?
It is such a perfect microcosm, the screaming and the mewling and the puking that happened during that time. Well, Jefferson County is not going to exist. We're not going to be able to provide basic services. There'll be no more police on the streets and all these types of things. And none of it really came to fruition. As a matter of fact, they came out of it more efficient than ever. And we'll talk to David about his methods in doing that and how it presents a microcosm of what Trump and the Trump administration is trying to do with Doge.
So how long did it take him to climb out of it?
6 years.
Yeah, that's a while.
Yeah. I mean, and they went through, and about 2 of those years were pretty bad. But they advanced technology efforts. Some of the similarities are kind of creepy. They went through technology training with the employees that they kept so that they could utilize technology to minimize the amount of employees that they would need.
You know how there's 9 of you and you guys are on typewriters? We're going to have one of you on a computer.
Right.
That's crazy.
And you're going to have a good attitude, or we're going to get one of the other 8 that we just fired, and they're coming in and they have a good attitude.
Did they have a lot of those fat pensions that they were paying to that gets a lot all these places
It was a lot of that going on, and there was just a tremendous amount of bloat. And I understand. I don't think that necessarily makes them bad people.
No.
It's the natural state of government to grow. Government in its natural condition grows and spends more of our money. And it takes effort to stop that and even more effort to claw it back, which is what we're seeing on the national stage.
And, one of the things I've talked about with Elon, for all the stuff about cutting, and that's great. Again, we'll see what sticks in the courts. The most important thing, I think, of all of this, besides the exposing of the insanity, which still, it's such a tiny bit in the overall scheme of things, what I think will be bigger is the fact that nobody's talking about the advancement in technology that I think he can bring. Air traffic control still uses paper.
It's a little weird.
It's in several things. It's not just several. In a vast majority of them, they're still using paper.
And I'm right there with you. I'm excited to see what if Donald Trump opens up. Like, I hope on the Fort Knox front that it's like Al Capone's vault. You remember Al Capone's vault? Can you imagine? They're videoing live and
there's nothing in there.
And it's just
hello. There's just one guy in the corner. Hey
guys. There's a couple of empty bags.
Oh man,
it's all gone, guys. It's
all gone. It's all gone. All right, that's our show for the day. Coming up next, Matt Murphy. You guys have a good one. Go buy those tickets. Come hang out with us for that big night.
It's a big celebration. Let's go. I'll be there. He'll be there. You'll be there.
Bell will not be there.
Headless Bell.
He's not a goer.
He can't drive.